In this webinar, I'm going to show you how to get so many marks for free on your exam. You're not going to believe it. If you get this calculator here, so it's the Casio with the blue buttons, I'm going to show you how to get 19 marks on this paper absolutely for free. Now, just quickly, this is an IGCSE paper. It doesn't matter if you're doing GCSE. Everything I'm about to show you here is going to be completely relevant. It is higher tier, but even if you're doing foundation, a massive amount of this stuff is going to be really, really useful for you. Maybe only a couple of things. So everyone's going to learn loads from this. Let me just give you a quick outline as to what we're going to do in this session. So 19 marks for free, just knowing how your calculator works. I'm not joking. Now, the pass mark on your GCSE maths paper is usually 20. It's usually about 20, right? So you guys just got to go and get 1 mark yourselves. I'm going to show you how to get 90 marks without even teaching you any maths, just all the kind of tricks and hacks on your calculator. Let's start question 1. There's a really useful hack for this. So this is speed, distance, time, okay? There's some flight, there's some speed, there's some time, there's some distance. They're going to give you some stuff, and some people know how to do this and some people don't. But the one thing that people get stuck on is units. So the whole point of distance, speed, time is like they're going to try and screw you over with the units. So you might notice here, this is kilometers per hour, and this is 7 hours and 18 minutes. You can't mix hours, minutes, and hours. So the mistake that people would make here is they'd call this like 7.18. This is like a big mistake. You can't just do that. You have to convert this into hours. And this is something that just I know a lot of people find really, really annoying. I'm going to show you a hack on your calculator. It's really quick. It's this weird little button here. So it's got circle, comma, and then 2 dashes. And it's how you deal with time. So basically 7 hours, 18 minutes. You go like this: 7 hours, 18 minutes. You have to put this weird little circle after both of them, and that's logged 7 hours 18 minutes. Now what you can do is add another time or subtract another time, and most people are kind of okay with that. But the one thing people find really difficult is converting times like this into purely hours. You hit equals, it turns it into this. So this looks nuts, I know, but it just means 7 hours 18 minutes and 0 seconds. Then you hit S to D, which is how you convert any number into something else. So how you convert fractions into decimals, whatever. You hit this button, you get 73/10. You hit it again, you get 7.3. So what I've done there, I'm not teaching you how to do this properly. It's going to involve some timesing by 60 or dividing by 60, or is it only the 18 or is it the 7 as well? I'm not teaching you that now. That's not what this webinar is all about. I'm just giving you some tips and tricks that always guarantee you're going to get marks on an exam. And so this is equal to 7.3 hours. That's not me being clever. That's me being sneaky and knowing how my calculator works. Completely legal. 7.3 hours. Now, you would have got a mark for that. Okay, you would have got 1 mark for that. And just to show you that the end of this question, again, I'm not really here to teach you distance, speed, time, but just super quickly, distance, speed, time. If you know this formula triangle, you kind of like, right, work out the distance. Oh, so you cover up distance and it's this times this. Okay, I'm not going into that now. We're not here to teach that, but just so then the end of the question is really easy. It's just distance is speed times time. Speed is that, time is that, right? You're just literally times them together. That times that, back into your calculator, and now you got full marks. Now, I'm not even including this. You know when I said there's 19 marks for free on this paper, I'm not even including these marks because you need to kind of know how to do distance, speed, time. There, bang, there you go. You just double check, nothing weird's going on. Do it in kilometers. So there's your answer. Whack it in there, 3 marks, done. Some people are basically saying they've got different calculators and does it apply to different exam boards? Yes. Okay. So if you're on a different exam board, everything I'm telling you now applies 100% to your exam. AQA, OCR, EdXL, GCSE, IGCSE, whatever it is, it's all exactly the same. It's like 95% of the same syllabus anyway. It's all absolutely the same. And the other question people are asking is like, I have that calculator, or have I got this calculator or whatever. So if you have the one with the orange buttons, you're going to have some of these things. You're going to have this button, for example, I think, but you're not going to have some of the tricks I'm about to show you. So my recommendation is go and buy this calculator. Now, you can try and find this one online. I mean, I have videos on this on exactly where to find it and which one's a good fake and which one's a bad fake. Have a look at that after the session if you want. Right, this question, you're not going to believe this. Right, would you like 3 marks for free on your GCSE maths? Yes, here we go. How do you convert kilometers per hour into a speed in meters per second? Does anyone find this annoying? Does anyone find this kind of thing annoying? Well, let me introduce you to the yellow conv. It stands for conversions, and we're about to do it on our calculators. 750, so we stick it in, 750, and we want to convert this. Okay, so we want to hit that yellow conv, so we're gonna hit shift, we're gonna hit 8, we are now you have to tell the calculator, is it a length, an area, a volume, or a mass? It's actually none of those things. It's like a speed. So we're going to hit down and we're going to see velocity here. Now, velocity basically means speed, okay? So it's a velocity. So we're going to hit 1. And these are all the ones that it does. Okay, so it only does kilometers per hour to meters per second or meters per second to kilometers per hour. This is kilometers per hour to meters per second. So it's number 1. So what you do is you hit number 1, you hit equals. There we go. We hit S to D just to turn it into a decimal. And there we go. That's the final answer. Now, just to remind you guys, when it comes to calculator hacks, you do not just write the answer and move on. You have to show your workings here. Okay, they also say give it correct to the nearest whole number. So what I would do here, I would actually write like equals 208.333 dot dot dot, or you could do 3 recurring. You could put a little dot above that. And then my final answer is going to be 208. I would actually come in here and write the answer in the answer box. Then I know that is the answer. And now I've got to go and make it look like I did some work. Okay, now I got to go show the examiner that I did some work. But now you know, you start with this number and just do some stuff to it until 208 pops out. So again, I'm not going to go deep into conversions here. It will take too long. But essentially, my method for doing conversions is this. You start with a number. You work out what is the conversion, like how many of one thing are in another. And this is kilometers and this is meters. So how many of them in that? Type it in the chat if you know. How many kilometers or meters? How many of one is in the other? Yeah, some people have got this. Nice. 1,000. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, you guys have got this. So 1,000. So what you're doing is timesing or dividing by 1,000. And then to go from hours to seconds, you need to know how many hours or seconds are in each other, if you see what I mean. Now, it's 3,600. Okay, this is worth knowing. But if you didn't know, you could just do 60 times 60 because it's 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. 60 times 60 is 3,600. So you're then timesing or dividing by 3,600. And like just do whichever one gives you 208. Okay, there you go. Almost always you do one and then the other. So you very rarely times them both. So here you times by 1,000 and then you divide by 3,600. You could check that on your calculator. Again, I'm not going deep into the conversions thing. That's how I do it personally. I write both of them out because if you're completely stuck, you just do both of them and write them down on the page and you're still going to get marks. Again, that's just more exam technique. You don't have to be amazing at doing the stuff in your head. You just have to have a system that you repeat every single time and you just get so many marks. So there we go. That is 3 marks for free. So you've now got 4 marks. You're a fifth of the way to passing your GCSE and I haven't really taught you any maths. Here, let's move on to this question. Mixed fractions. If you ever have a question on mixed fractions, I would just recommend you use your calculator. If you already know how to do this, now let me just say this actually, for any of these questions, right? If you already know how to do one of these questions, then just do it and use the hack on the calculator to just double check your work at the end. But the reason I'm showing you these things is for people that find them difficult. If you find mixed fractions difficult, use your calculator. Hit shift and then the fraction button. So you see you get this mixed fraction thing here, right? And you're going to do 5 2/3. We're going to hit 5, and you're going to hit right, or do you hit down? I don't know. 2, hit down. Well, you figure it out. 5 2/3, and then you hit equals, and you get 17/3. I've done anything clever. Okay. The way you actually do it is times those two together and then add that. So it's 15 plus 2 is 17, and then the bottom number stays the same. But if you knew that, great. If you didn't, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to get a mark for free. Then you just do the same with that one, 3 3/5. So 3 4. Sorry, hit right. 3 4/5. And you're just using this just to double check. You know when you get into an exam and you're just like, oh, sometimes you just say like 2 times 6 is 10 or something. And you just make a stupid mistake. You're trying to eradicate these things. So lean on your calculator as much as you can. 19/5. And why not? Let's just do it to that one. Any mixed fraction you see, you just do that to it. So whatever. You get it. And there's one more button that I should introduce you to actually, which is how to turn things back. So a lot of people know, some people know this, right? And they know, but if you keep hitting equals or S to D, it doesn't really do anything else. Some people don't know how to turn this back into a mixed number fraction. So all I would do there is just say equals 28/15. Again, you're just exam technique. You know, it turns out you got a mark for writing those, or even one of them. I think even one of them you got a mark. So again, 3-mark question. You're getting 1 mark just for doing literally nothing. Just know how your calculator works. You've got to go do a bit more maths now, like to add fractions or subtract fractions. You have to get the bottom number the same. It's called lowest common. It's called common denominator. Sorry. You've got to get the bottom numbers the same and blah, blah. I'm not doing that now, but that's the point of the next bit. You change them both to be over 15 and blah, blah, blah. You kind of carry on going. But that's the hack. Oh, let me quickly show you how to change a number back. So if you had 28/15 and you want to know how to turn that back into a mixed number fraction. Do you see above this S to D button is this pretty weird mixed fraction to fraction thing? So you want to hit shift and then that. You go shift and then that. Look at that. Look at that. Now you get marks for going both ways, depending on the question. So in this particular question, the calculator hack, oh, you only got it for that. But like there's loads of mixed number fractions where if you know how to go both ways on your calculator, go and get loads of marks for free on your GCSEs and thank me later. All right, let's move on. Why wouldn't you use your calculator here? Remember what I just told you. If you ever want to switch out a letter for a number, what do you use? Stick it in the chat. What do I want you to use? Put it in the chat. Yes, some of you have already got this. You want to stick this in 7c squared plus f. Yes, brackets. You got it. Brackets. Just put brackets in. If in doubt, brackets. So c is -2, so that goes in there. F is 5. Now, in this particular case, if you're just adding 5 onto something, you don't need brackets. But if you weren't sure, it doesn't matter. You don't lose anything by putting the brackets in. And that's why it's such a good rule. If in doubt, so let's say we didn't know, we weren't sure. 7 brackets. If I was teaching a baby how to do this, I'd be like, just put brackets every time. And then you're never, ever, ever, ever going to make a mistake or lose marks on a question like this. There you go. Plus, oh, I'm not sure if I put them in or not. Just put them in, doesn't really matter. Press equals 33. There you go. 2 marks. 2 marks for just using brackets and not rushing. The problem that people are going to have here is they're going to go, oh, c squared, 7c. Oh, hang on, BidMaths. Is it 7c or do I square the c? Is the 7 squared? It doesn't matter. Your calculator knows this stuff anyway. You don't need to learn this stuff on a calculator paper. Okay, you do. It's helpful to know it, but if you don't know, it doesn't matter for questions like this. 2 marks for free. Let's go. You're not going to believe it. This question you can do 100%, 3 marks. Let me show. Okay, you do have to show a bit of algebra. You're not going to believe this if you haven't seen this hack. You can solve equations on your calculator, and your teachers haven't told you. Why? I don't know. Okay, because they're arseholes. I don't know. They're trying to teach you the long stuff. They're probably doing it because it's good for you in the long term. Okay, but I know what you guys actually want. You want in the exam a foolproof way of making sure you got the right answer and just knowing that you got marks banked, because it gives you that confidence to be like, yeah, I've got that. I haven't made a mistake. Here, I'm going to show you can solve literally any question on your calculator using this real sneaky little thing here. You're allowed this, so why wouldn't you use it? We're going to type this out. Okay, we're going to type this out, but we're going to replace any letter with X. So you see in the top right of this calculator here, it's X. Now look, if you want, I know some people are like, could you slow down or show that again? I have videos on this on calculator hacks. If you want to know every single calculator hack, I've got 22 hacks in total, right? If you want to know them, I have a video course where you can kind of watch them. I'll talk about that at the end, but like, if I went through so slowly on all of them, we'd probably be here for a while. I just want to show you the power of the calculator and how you can use it to your advantage. So let's type this equation in. 5 brackets. If you've got this calculator, just do it along with me. If you don't, just watch and try and remember. Or write some notes. Write some notes. 5 brackets, x minus 3 close brackets. So remember, we're swapping q out for x just because the calculator doesn't have a q. Now I want to put equals, but you don't want to hit this equals because it's going to then just think you're trying to like find the answer. So you want to find another equals somewhere on your calculator that isn't that equals, and it's up there. You see this weird little red equals. If you hit alpha, then calc, it pulls up this red equals and it puts it in there. Now we're going to go 12 minus x. 12 minus x. Now, I need to just tell you what's about to happen, because you're going to press something and it's going to give you a number and you're going to think this is the answer, and it's not. I understand that this calculator hack is a little bit fiddly, but just learn it. Just learn it and then go and get loads of marks in your exam. You don't want to hit equals. You want to solve the equation. So you're looking for the word solve, and it's on the same button as the equal, so it's kind of handy. It's that yellow solve. So we're going to hit shift and solve, but I have to warn you that this is not that scary. Nothing that scary is going to pop out the calculator, but it's going to give you a number and it's not the answer. Watch this, shift solve. You're all going to think, oh, it's 3. It's not 3. You have to hit equals again. I'm not going deep into why that is. What your calculator doing is asking you for a starting value, and it's going to do this weird thing where it zeroes in on the answer, basically. So you hit equals, and now it's found the answer. And so it will always look weird like this, but the L minus R, just ignore it. The answer is 4.5. You can literally do this on any equation in your GCSE, And it's not going to get you full marks every time, okay? It's not going to get you full marks every time because you have to show some working sometimes. But isn't it nice to essentially have the mark scheme on you? It's like flicking over the mark scheme and seeing the answer is 4.5 and being like, ah, okay, right. So am I on track? Did I get 4.5? So again, you stick the answer there, 4.5, and now you go back and try and show it. I'll show you very quickly how to do it. You expand this bracket out, so you're multiplying both of those two things out like that. Don't worry if you don't know how to do this, you've got time to learn exactly how to solve equations and stuff like this. I'm just trying to show you these really useful hacks. You then want to sort of add q to both sides, okay, because it gets rid of it there. Okay, so you end up with 6q minus 15 equals 12. And then you want to take this and chuck it to the other side. So you want to get rid of that. So you want to do the opposite of it, add 15 to both sides. You're going to get 6q equals 27. And then you take the 6 and just slide it under. So look, I'm going through this quickly. If you found that a bit tricky, please don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. That's not what this session's about. I'm not going to do an hour on solving equations, okay? So 27 over 6. Again, you punch this into your calculator. You go menu and 1 to go back to the original. Oh, wait. Sorry, this was already in calculate mode. Ignore that. You don't need to hit menu 1. You can just hit AC. 27 over 6. There, 27 over 6. Then we hit equals and then S to D. Yeah, okay, cool. So I got it right. Now, what you would probably do, and this is again exam technique, let me explain. A lot of mistakes people make is they would minus 15 from both sides here or something. And so you might end up with 12 minus 15 minus 3 or whatever. You make some big mistake and then you'll get the answer that's different. But the fact that you know the answer is 4.5 means you know there's a mistake and then you just go and look for it. And it's probably going to be double minus. Like you'll all have your mistake that you like to make the most. It might be double minus is the one I see the most, like a minus times a minus, or it might be taking this 15 over this side and forgetting to add it and doing minusing. You just try it. Just keep trying stuff until you get the answer out. And that's exam technique. It's knowing how to get from the question to your answer that you know is true and just kind of figuring it out a bit. It comes with a little bit of practice, but having that calculated just to tell you what the answer is amazing. I'm just going to show you here. So if you're ever stuck on any inequality question, an inequality is when you have this sign or this sign or this sign or this sign. And again, you don't even need to know what they mean. You just need to know what to do with them. And the one tip I would say, if you're ever stuck, just replace it with an equals. Okay, if you're stuck, just replace it with an equals. And now you can go and use your calculator. You could go back and do this. 7 minus x, alpha equals 31. This is the same trick I did before. I'm just going to hit shift and solve. And that's not my answer. See, that's the answer that the x value that I got from my previous question. Then you hit equals. Then you get the answer -4. If you just put the number -4, check the mark scheme. If they see the number -4 anywhere on this question, they gave you a mark. So if you have no idea how to do inequalities, what I would say is you find the letter there, you guess what the symbol is. It's usually the same way around as it is there, and then put -4. In this case, you would have lost a mark because this was flipped the other way around. I'm not going to go into why, but essentially, well, I'll just tell you quickly. If you ever times or divide by a negative number, it flips the sign around. But that is hard. That's difficult to remember. It's tricky and annoying. So when you actually came to solving this equation, at some point, you'd have -7t equals, and then you divide by -7 and it spins the sign around in the middle. Blah, blah. We're not here to learn that now. We're here to just bank as many marks as we can as quickly as possible. And so even if you got this bit wrong, okay, you still would have got 1 mark for that. So how many marks were we on so far? I don't know, 10? 10 to 15 marks I've just given you for free. Let's carry on. I'm going to give you loads more hacks. Guess what? Would you like full marks on this question? Right, stick it in the chat. Who would like full marks? Say me, please, if you would like full marks on every single question like this. This is a 4-mark question whenever you're given any table like this with a frequency. Me, please, me, please, me, please. Yes, please. Right, okay. I'm not joking. This is full marks coming on every single one you ever have on any of these. Now, warning, the calculator hack is a little bit fiddly. Yeah, but just learn it and you go and get full marks. Okay, quickly, this is called a grouped frequency table. It's frequency. So frequency means the number of times something happens. So what this really means is there were 28 people or things or whatever it is, 28 parcels that were between this whatever, right? But you don't need to know that to get the marks. You just need to recognize that it's a frequency table. Now, here it says frequency, okay? So that's kind of obvious. But they might say number of people, or they might say number of goals. It might be like football thing, like number of goals, or something like that. Number of something here. And then here, they're either just going to have individual numbers, that's called a frequency table, or they're going to have a group, like between this, and it's called a group frequency table. I know this is the most boring thing you've ever heard in your life, but I'm only telling it to you because the hack is slightly different for each one. There is a function on your calculator that does this all, guys. Just literally tells you the answer. So you hit menu, you go across till you find statistics. Is it statistics? Yes, it's statistics. And then you hit equals. Now, I know I'll go through this quite slowly because this is really hard to remember, but this is why you can watch this again. Um, one variable. It's always one variable. Just ignore all this stuff. It's all kind of nasty A-level stuff. It's one variable. If you ever come across a statistics screen that you don't know what to press, it's always one variable. Now, you're going to be faced with this. Now, follow along with me if you have this calculator. You're going to have X. Now, X is this stuff in here. But we don't have a frequency column. Okay, so you're going to have this in your calculator. So you need to add the frequency column in. Now, the nice thing is you only need to do this once and your calculator will remember it. Let me show you how to do it. How do you do it? I'm trying to remember now. You go shift and then menu. That's it. You go shift and then menu. So you go to setup, then you hit down, then you hit statistics, 3, and then you turn the frequency on. Okay. So that's weird. And you see it suddenly popped up there. Yes, this is difficult, but you do it once. So just to remind you, shift setup, you go down till you find statistics, then you turn the frequency on and hit number 1, and it should appear there. And then you literally punch the table in. And the one thing you have to remember about group frequency table is you don't put the left number in, you don't put the right number in. And the way to think about this is like, well, which number do you put? 0 or 5? 0 or 5? If you put 0, that's unfair on the 5. If you put 5, that's unfair on the 0. So why don't we just go smack down the middle? Why don't we go right in the middle? Now, if you can work that out, that's 2.5. If you can't work that out, you could either write out a kind of number line on the thing, or you could go back into normal calculator mode and work out the average of each one. So if it was weird numbers, most people can kind of understand, I think, 2.5. If you're doing foundation, you might find that difficult, but you just do this plus this divided by 2. So you add them and divide by 2. You could do that in normal mode and write down all of the midpoints here. So the midpoints, and you're going to get a mark for writing all these things anyway. The midpoints is this, okay? 17.5, 22.5, right? And what you're doing is you're typing those numbers in on the left. So here we go. So we can go 2.5 equals 7.5. If you guys are like, hang on, but then surely you can't just press equals and it tells you the answer. 17.5. Not only does it tell you the answer, it tells you everything you'd ever need to know about this thing. So you literally 20.5. So I'm literally just punching it in. You guys can see this, right? I'm going up to my frequency. I'm just going to copy these out. Again, don't even need to know what it means. 28, 32 equals 20 equals 14 equals, and then 6 equals. Right, now I've put my whole thing in. Now you don't hit equals. I know you're all like, oh, Rob, how am I supposed to remember all of these steps? Like, just learn it once and then you go and get full marks every time you do it. Most of the steps are intuitive. A few of them are annoying. This is one of them, okay? You have to hit option, okay? You're not equals. If you hit equals, I don't know what happens if you hit equals, but you hit option. And what are you going to press here? Stick it in the chats. What are you going to press here? You got 4 options. You got no idea which one it's going to be. What are you going to do? Some people are saying 4. Some people are saying statistics cap. Remember what I said earlier. If you're ever stuck on this and you don't know what to press, it's always Luke's got it, Ellie's got it. It's always one variable. So what the one before is like one variable, one var, one variable. Like it's annoying and weird. If you're ever like, oh, what was the thing I should press? It's the thing that says one variable. There you hit number 3. Now, let me just talk you through this. This literally tells you everything. So X bar, the first thing they give you is the mean. So this is calculated the mean. So this question here says work out an estimate for the mean. Guess what the answer is? 9.4. So I'm just going to whack it in there. Now, let me remind you, that's not the end. You don't get 4 marks out of 4 for just doing that. Now I'm going to show you how to show you're working, but it's so easy to get the answer when you know what the answer is. It's so easy to get the working right when you know what the answer is. Let me just very quickly talk you through the rest of these things. Sum of X means you've added up all of the added up all of the x. So this is like the total. Sometimes they ask you a really annoying question, which is like work out the total or something. Um, anyway, hit down and you get this stuff in here. Now, med means median. Okay, so if the question said, a very common question here is which group contains the mean, the median? Sorry. When they have a group frequency table, they'll say estimate the mean, or they'll say which group, or find the class interval that contains the median. You know, have you seen those annoying questions? Find the class interval. It's so median is this one, 7.5, and 7.5 was in this group. So if the question said find the class interval that contains the median, this would be your okay. This would be your answer there. You just copy that down in the answer box and get them up. The mode is fairly obvious. I think they do. So they tell you the mode. I can't remember. They tell you the mode. Anyway, they tell you Q1 and Q3. These are really useful. So these, if you're doing higher, Q1 and Q3 are the quartiles. And if they ask you for the interquartile range, it's the range between the quartiles. So it's 12.5 minus 2.5. That would be the range. Sorry, that would be the interquartile range. So this is really, really handy for just getting the answer right. I can show you how to do this exactly the same trick. I won't show you now because I want to show you as many tricks as I can. Exactly the same trick can do frequency tables where they just give you the numbers. In that case, you just put the numbers in. And also for a long list of numbers, you know, they go like, here's 26 numbers, find the interquartile range, 3 marks. And you're like, oh my God, I can't remember how to do it. You can do it on that. You just need to do a quick tweak. So I can show you how to do that another time. So that's it. Now, how do you get the marks? I'm just going to tell you the one thing. So you have to now show some working, okay? There's the one thing to remember with any of these tables, frequency tables, group frequency tables, is you times across. That's just the first thing you got to do. You just times across. I don't think it's too hard to just remember that. When you get those tables, and there's numbers on the left, numbers on the right, just times across, you get loads of marks. So what we're timesing here is this middle number. And I think using the calculator helps you to know to write that number down because it forces you. How do we get back? I think you hit AC. Yeah, you hit AC and you go back to the table. It forces you to think of a number to put in here. And when you forces you to be like, is it 0 or is it 5? You put the middle one in. It makes you, it reminds you to write those numbers down. So now now we are in a different mode on our calculator. So we have to hit menu and we have to hit 1. And it basically takes us back up to this 1, which is calculate. Hit 1 or you could hit equals there. Okay, 2.5 times 28. So now we just go and do this kind of stuff. Okay, and 70. And you keep going. Okay, I'm not going to do it now. 7.5 times 32. And you get answer here, 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 here. And then it's not that difficult to get the answer. Like if you're completely stuck, just keep doing stuff to numbers in the thing and you're going to get it eventually. But I'll just show you what to do quickly. Mean is like add it all up and divide by how many things there are. So you add this all up. So you add all of them up. And the mistake you're going to make is you're going to divide by 5. That's wrong. A lot of people divide by 5 because they're like, yeah, but there's 5 things. And the nice thing about this, you're going to do that and you're not going to get this as your answer. And you're going to be like, oh, I've made a mistake. Oh, Rob said that thing. It's not number of 5. And it's actually the total number of people. And now here they actually tell you it's 100 parcels. So the way to get 100 is actually to add all these up. So add all these up. Okay. Now, if I taught you this from scratch without the calculator hack, I would say, hey guys, so remember, this is what your teachers say. This is probably how they talk as well. Hey guys, so just remember, when you get a group frequency table, you find the midpoints, you times across, you add up all the totals, then you add up all the frequencies, and then you divide the totals by the frequencies. So just remember that, and you'll go and get your marks. And you're like, yeah, but you just said 6 really boring, annoying things. How the hell am I going to remember all 6 of those things in the order that you told me? So I would just say, remember one thing, which is, well, sorry, do the calculator hack, and remember one thing, which is times across, just times across. And once you get here, I just know from experience that most people are like, oh, I think you add something out. I think you add, because mean feels like add, and then you add this stuff up, and then you probably get stuck and be like, I can't remember what number to divide by, and just keep dividing by stuff until you get 9.4, and then you're literally going to get full marks on this question. There you go. Hope that was useful. Let me carry on. I've got lots more to pack in. Let's keep going. The one thing to mention here is I have a revision technique called micro revision. What I don't want you to do is to watch this video and then to have to go back and watch it again and then watch it again in a couple of weeks when you forget everything. I just don't have time to go through it in full detail. I'm just going to show you. What I would like to do is make these things called micro revision cards. So anytime I teach you something that you're like, God, that was actually really useful, you want to condense it onto a card. So I would encourage you to maybe go back through this if you found this stuff really useful and try and just make a card to condense the thing. So it might be like first step of this question. And you just to make the card a bit quicker, you'd only put the first three things in. And on the back, you'd be like midpoint, midpoint or something. Midpoint, then times across. You could do something like that, then times across. I'm just being really quick. You stick that on the back of a card, and the point of these cards is that you can then just flip them over and like you put something on the front, something on the back, and you're like, oh yeah, I got it right, or oh yeah, I got it wrong. And if you start getting them right loads of times, you can chuck that one away. And you'll just be left with the like 20 or 30 things that you get stuck on. And so this becomes so much more powerful than like reading a textbook or watching a video, because so much of it is not going to be useful for you. But if you take the time to make the cards, it's going to be really useful. You can make ones for the calculator hacks as well. You'll say like, how do you do this question on your calculator? And on the back, you'd go like stat or statistics. Statistics. Maybe you guys can write this because I know this is annoying. Actually, let's just do this one card for everyone. How do you do frequency tables or group frequency tables on group frequency tables? I'm being very quick and messy, I know. I'm just trying to cover as much stuff as I can on your calculator. Okay. And then on the back, you just want to write the bullet points. So it is, let me just remind you, because I know a lot of people will forget this. Menu statistics. So you would go like this. And just so you know, on my actual video courses, when I teach all this calculator hacks, I've written all these cards down for you. So you'd watch a video, I teach you this stuff, and at the end, I've written them all down anyway. So I've written down all the things you need to know to remember this. And it'll be like one, menu statistics, then one variable. Okay. Then like, put in table or using midpoint, enter values, brackets, midpoint, if grouped. I know this is a bit of a long code, but stick it in, and then option 3. Okay, so then like option 3, brackets, one variable, and then that's it, right? And then just math error, because in that case I didn't put anything in my table. So that's it. I know this is pretty, like, you might look at this and be like, that's really difficult to remember. Just get it down, write it, and then you'll just start to see this in your tests and your homeworks and your past papers. You'll be sat there and be like, I can't believe no one else in my class realizes I can do this on my calculator. It's going to just get me the marks, and your teachers are going to be like, God, you're doing so well. You jumped up a whole grade in a week. And you're like, I just did a couple of cards on some of my calculator hacks. And honestly, you're gonna jump up a whole grade boundary pretty quickly if you take these calculator hacks seriously and some of this exam technique. And you're going to be like, no, yeah, actually, my teacher said at my max grade I'm going to get is a 5, and I just got a 5, and I got 5 months into my GCSEs or something. Yeah, screw you, I can get a 6, and it's going to boost you. It's going to make you realize getting these higher grades is actually not as hard as you think. If you know how to just tackle the exam and get loads of marks for free. Okay. Would you like to know how to draw? We're getting to the end. Let me show you how to draw any graph on the whole exam. I can teach you graphs in 1 minute. In 60 seconds, I can teach you every single thing. Not that you know. Okay, graphs is a tricky topic, and I'm not going to be able to teach you the whole of graphs in 5 minutes, right? But let me show you a hack for how to just get you loads of marks on all the time. You have to get it y equals, okay, to use this trick. It has to be y equals something. But a lot of the time, it will be written like that. If it's not, you have to rearrange it. I'm not going into that. That's algebra. If it was 2y, you'd have to go and divide everything by 2 and stuff like that. But if it's written like this, there is a really nice hack you can do in your calculator. You come through here, you go to table mode. Table mode. I know it doesn't sound right because you're thinking, well, wasn't it graphs mode? It's table mode. F of x, you type this function in. So you just copy out what this thing is there. So I'm going to go minus 2x plus 4. Then you hit equals. G of x you leave blank because there's not a second function. Basically, you just leave it blank and hit equals. They ask you for the range of the table. And what you're doing here is you might have seen this when they do like a table like this and they like have the values here. This is exactly what you do. You use the table mode to punch this stuff in, and it just tells you what the answer is. You have to come up with the values here. And they've asked x value is going from -1 to 5. And what that means is you're going from -1 up to 5 on the x-axis. And so the start value is -1. So you're going to go -1. The end value is 5. And the step is always 1. I think 99% of the time I've seen one question in my whole time where you don't do step. Step means what's the gap in between each number? It's always 1. Okay. So you're going up in ones. So step is 1, so you hit equals. And this just tells you coordinates of points that are on the graph. So -1, 6. So you come here, you go -1. So you go -1 on the x, 6. Remember, you always do the x one first. So -1, 6, so that's there. Then you go to the next one down, 0, 4. So that's 0, 4. So that is there. And you go to the next one, 1, 2. So 1, then 2. And you just go through carefully. Da, 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 da. You're going to carry on and it's going to look like this. And so many people just get 0 on these questions. 4 marks. There you go. 4 marks for absolute free, just for free. And then you just do this. There's another 4 marks for free just by using your calculator. Okay, I'm on the iPad here, so you basically extend this up like that. You kind of like draw it all the way. Oh, they've asked for it from -1 to 5. Doesn't matter. I'd either stop at -1 to 5 or usually you keep going. There you go, 4 marks are free. And then, yeah, if you want me to teach this to you, then okay, the number next to the x is called the gradient. The other number is called the y-intercept. So that means it crosses at 4 and has a gradient of -2, which technically means for every one you go across, you go 2 down. That's why it's -2. So that's how you're supposed to do it if you want to just, do it using the kind of tricksy method or the kind of mathsy method. If you want to just go and get loads of marks for free, whack it into table mode and thank me later. If you found this useful and you think that you might need more than just the 30 minutes at the weekend, absolutely feel free to sign up to one of the paid plans. If you just want to come along and do the live stream 30 minutes, that's absolutely fine. Come on Sunday at 11 o'clock. And if you want a little bit more from me, sign up to one of the packages. I will boost your grades as quickly as possible and set you up. I'm not joking, for life. You get a really good maths GCSE here. You can basically study whatever you want, A level in university. You're going to get a great job. Okay, so yeah, come and join me. I'm going to help you get your grades up. Thanks for joining me. Hope that was useful. Take care. Have a good rest of your evening and goodbye.